Vincenzo, my villa at Capri, my 10-carat diamond ring. I forgot my whip completely. He gave me nothing. I'm happy to say I'm newlywed again. Mr. Body recently paid my sins. I have wealth, I have power, I have even a chance plastic surgeon. I'm the one they choose to read. I can't believe. Oh, darling, rest me till my sins tonight.
Promise me you'll make sure it's a thrill.
I will not. I need someone to be my alibi.
I am Professor Plum, B.A., M.A., Ph.D. That's me. I am an author by trade, an intellect by birth, an American by choice. You see, I was born in London, raised in New York, attended Oxford, where I became part of the British think tank in the States. It was in Washington I met Mr. Body. He was a lobbyist for the oil industry. He asked me to go write a book for him about oil industries with government involvement. More handsome being. Indeed, I agree. As Susan Mom said, money is like a sixth sense. You can't use the other five without it. To mastermind a plan is quite fulfilling. To orchestrate was never my strong suit. The mastermind will always get top billing. Of course, it's a nameless body playing me just to suit. Till the deed is done, I'm game for everyone. Better is our little thing, I using up to everywhere, but only one can
I'm Miss Scarlett. I'm an actress. Well, a singer. No more like a performer. You know, I do it all. Or so does one of my men friends tell me. No one knows this, but I first met Mr. Body when I was performing in Las Vegas. I opened for a Dog Joker act which played every Tuesday at 3 a.m. at Billy's Lone Star Bar and Grill in Casino. Mr. Body was in Vegas on business. He saw my show, loved it, and asked for an encore in his hotel room. Well, you know me. I love an audience. Last night we played, I had to shoot you. The tribute, and I nearly missed my cue.
Colonel Mustard here. I've stormed bunkers, pillaged barricades, and triumphed in war. Not with might, mind you, but with imagination. You see, the soldier never had the opportunity to serve in the armed forces due to legislation drafted by Senator Body, Mr. Body's father. It bans from the military anyone who has the unfortunate disease which causes them to mistake humans for inanimate objects. People live quite normally with the animals, so they become excited. Their blood pressure increases, then their neighbor becomes a Volkswagen and a son and a toaster. You get the idea. Shortly after the bill was passed, Senator Body mysteriously died. Now Mr. Body calls me Dad. You recall the last time I told you. I need to see me with a candlestick.
I recall you struck me with the lead pipe.
Yeah, that's right. Perhaps tonight I'll try a new retreat.
Hello, my name's Mrs. White. Hey, Mrs. Cat, that's what I call by Mr. Body, who I'm living with. You see, I'm his housekeeper. Actually,
popular discount air carrier, Pennies in Heaven. I'm part of a joint venture with Mr. Body that specializes in the restoration of ancient monuments called Colossal Nips and Tucks. Our recent project is the Great Pyramids. We're gonna protect them from the elements by covering them with vinyl siding. What a concept! Sandstone-colored siding that blends in with the stone so you don't even know it's there. I'm a genius.
Yes, 6 weapons pass from hand to hand with passion. 6 suspects from square one, we're on the run. You've met us now and heard the tales we fashion. Be cautious, intrepid,
Conniving.
Contriving. Seductive.
so now you play a little game of murder.
Little game of
Try your best to play the game to win. No matter if you land on top or bottom, you played it, and now it's time to play the game again. Yes, the game has now begun. 6 suspects on the run. From here it's all about for murder
Tonight, we won't save the world from ruin. We won't get a Nobel Prize. We won't even win lottery jackpots. We will encounter some crackpots, loony antics, and clues to scrutinize.
How do you like that? He called us crackpots.
Take a look around. You don't find sane people living in a two-dimensional world filled with yellow blocks and paint by maroons.
Ladies and gentlemen, you shall determine the conclusion of the game. The suspect, weapon, and the room are essential. You do this by selecting cards from 3 decks and placing them in this envelope marked confidential. There are 6 options in each of 3 categories. 6, 6, 6. Very interesting. Now, there are 216 potential finales, but on only one is our game resting.
Here we go again.
The slap of the card.
The crash of the die.
The sticky fingers grasping me.
The strong fingers grasp.
You always get the strong ones.
The first deck contains cards representing each of the murder suspects. Mrs. Peacock, Mr. Green, Miss Scarlet, Colonel Mustard, Professor Plum, and Mrs. White. Before the show begins, I would like to recruit 3 volunteers.
our destiny, for in it lies the answer to the mystery. We find ourselves in a very interesting place. The ending has been chosen before we begin. What then is the objective? From a player's perspective, to solve the mystery and ultimately win? Your goal is to figure out what is in the envelope, who done it, with what weapon, in what room. You arrive at this conclusion by deducing the solution from clues I will give you once we resume. There are 2 rounds of clues that will assist you. Before my death, round 1. After, round 2. Now, participation in the game is purely by choice. But if you play, use the playing law you received. Document the information I reveal in each clue. Then eliminate items with no value perceived. Thus you find where, how, and who. Now our house lights will rise to assist you in your endeavor. So when they rise, heed my report with pleasure. We will be anxious to see at the end of the game if your answer and ours are one and the same. Now we start our journey to arrive at this end. To all suspicious doing, diligently attend. Round 1 begins in the kitchen with shrieks of woe. From a disgruntled worker, less friend than foe.
Make sure the roast is succulent and tender, he said. Make sure the salad is gently tossed. I wouldn't mind a Berners roast and terrace salad pot. I wouldn't mind too.
What are you doing?
Tenderizing the roast.
With a lead pipe?
Ah.
Right. Just make sure their preparations are completed according to my specifications.
Sir, I've been meaning to talk to you about your position.
You are my chief domestic, Mrs. White. There is nothing else to discuss.
Me wages and the raise I ain't
Are
got.
you forgetting that I paid the bail required by the court to free your stepson Nigel?
And I'm so grateful. Sir,
Nigel would still be behind bars, awaiting his trial for grand larceny, if it had not been for my most generous offering.
more than generous, sir. But working all these hours to pay me back is taking its toll. Me body feels like I've had a marathon night with a troop of bloods from the Royal Navy.
Mrs. White!
You're right. A night with sailors would have at least put a smile on your face.
Mrs. White, I want dinner ready in 1 hour. You are to notify all my guests when dinner is served, and after serving it, you are to report to your chamber until I summon you. Is that understood, Mrs. White?
Aye, aye, sir.
I knew she'd go my way.
He's bloody not minding me on his. What I need is a new position with a respectful employer. Unfortunately, at my age, there ain't many offers. Just a bowl of cherries with all the pieces fit. But when you're scrambling to survive, life is a bowl of hits
Clue number one. In the kitchen with the knife was a white, who flailed the gleaming blade in might. She handled the pipe greatly too. One of these weapons is an answer for you. Next, in the billiard room, business goes awry. When wheeling and dealing, can't conceal a lie.
Four ball, corner pop, 6 ball side.
Good evening, Mr. Green.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
The room is dark, even for you, wouldn't you say?
6 of one, half of the other. Are you in for a game?
No, thank you. I'm already involved in the game. Do you have the Egyptian deposit with also lips and tucks?
Not yet, but the government loved our proposal and has given us solid verbal commitment that the check will be cut soon. Real soon.
That's not true.
But sure it is. They promised me as soon as...
You're lying. I spoke to Yusuf Abdul Rabbit just yesterday. The check was already delivered to you, and a little research shows that your bank account is now $500,000 fatter than 2 days ago.
My great Aunt Peoria died. A little thank you for being a model nephew.
Mr. Green,
No, serious. The poor thing was confined to a wheelchair, was crazy, and had a removable glass eye. I'd go around and push her in the kitchen so that she could play marbles with it.
Mr. Green, I want the correct amount deposited in Nipson Tuck's account immediately.
Hey, bud, you're walking on thin water.
Failure to do so will result in legal action brought against you.
Go ahead, sue me. You got nothing. You're looking for a needle in a backpack.
Clue number two. Exhibited in that telling scene, billiard room, candlestick, and Mr. Green. None of these are worth remembering when you begin your conjecture. Now, in the ballroom, our reunion takes place. Here there is a dubious past to embrace.
A strange place to find you. In a ballroom, alone.
Colonel Mustard,
How did you know?
that unquestionable tone of adolescence. Are you a guest for the weekend?
No, I'm just here for the evening. A stopover on my way to a very important affair.
Are you going to an engagement for Gravy Paul or French's Golden?
My dear, you haven't changed a bit. You're still that same feisty woman I once adored.
Oh, you and me, that was husbands ago.
Remember when we were passionate friends?
True allies.
Let's play like we did that first night in Monaco. Let's play my favorite.
Not Custer's Last Stand. Never stands very long.
No! The storming of Normandy.
Send in the troops.
Tin hit! Europe, 1939. Hitler unleashes his wrath. Left foot, Czechoslovakia. be prepared. Got to keep your pistol loaded and ready to fire. The enemy is everywhere.
Colonel, I am no enemy.
Colonel Mustard! I want you off the premises immediately.
I don't understand.
I don't understand. I was just kissing a rake.
I want you out! I love my job.
Need I remind you that when your mother, my mother, your wife, my wife, your died, that I became owner of this manor, and that it is my generosity which allows you to take up residence.
My mother may have left you Body Manor, but she did not leave you my wife.
Your wife? Where is your wife? Listen, you better put that rake away. That thing has sharp teeth. I'll deal with you later. Good night. Oh.
I'm going to the lounge for a cocktail and to the conservatory for a moment alone with the plants.
Clue number 3. Revolver, ballroom, mustard, peacock. Are they the key to the mystery lock? Spouse and parent both savvy and wise. Choose neither of these, I strongly advise. Revolver, ballroom, weapon, space. Neither will help strengthen your case. Now in the lounge, more remote this morning, in tandem with some sly brainstorming.
Mr. Body, what's the man in the house up to?
Scarlett, what's this?
Where did you get that?
In your chamber. It's sheet music. Scarlett, what are you doing with this sheet music?
I'm singing it in my new act.
Beethoven's Fifth Symphony?
I'm a big voice these days. You want a drink?
I'll see you later.
I got a little vodka and a dash of gin and a big splash of beer to mix it all together.
That's some cocktail.
You want one?
How about a little something less complicated? Like a glass of water?
None bottled. And the water pipe in here is broken.
Wine. Mr. Body always has a decent bottle of wine laying around.
In the cellar.
I wouldn't call that a bottle of wine.
Or that. A lead pipe and a wrench.
Plumbing repairs, obviously. Ah, there it is. Let's see here. Vin de Pays.
Vin de Pays. It's French country wine.
Hey, no good. Where'd you pick up the French? Scotland.
How do you know my name?
Last time I saw you, you were in Vegas belting out Sinatra tunes.
I don't know you.
You won the Miss Nuclear Waste pageant.
Everyone knows that.
'Cause I paid off the judges.
Squeegee?
Squeegee Sanguinoni in the flesh.
I can't believe it! Look at you! What happened to the hair? The stomach? The 10 pounds of gold around your neck?
When you want to be successful in business, you need a certain look and a certain sound. Now I'm Mr. 3, Jack of all shades. What about you?
I'm a refined lady now. Miss Scarlet.
Baby, a leopard doesn't change its D's, M's, and those.
You don't know, Squeegee. I've changed. I hated that way of life.
As I recall, you didn't have it so bad. Nice apartment, nice car, nice company.
Yeah, things were good. Until you left. Why'd you split?
You can't stick around when your two business partners, one who's your girl, itch up and leave you in the dust.
I didn't know what Mr. Body was up to. Really. He only put the make on me to gain access to the accounts. And he drained them, leaving me and our business penniless.
So why you here?
Why are you here?
To right the wrong.
Is wrong?
His wrong.
left over right and through and tight. There. Perfect at your knot. And by pull here, I have a noose. A brilliant noose.
Hey, that's because I can cut a bit.
Not to worry, I shall replace it.
Yeah, that's your sweet bottom, you shall.
You will.
I will what?
You will replace it.
I ain't replace it. You can make the mess of it.
Proper English, you will replace it.
I will not. You plain ruined it.
It's not you shall, it's you will.
Try and confuse me so I forget about the rubber and done you pay for it. Your highfalutin types are all the same. You're a slut.
Not as sly as your boss.
You're talking about Mr. B.
The ace winner himself.
Oh, you got some dirt, ain't ya?
Dirt is the substance that lies on the face of the earth. In your case, under your fingernails.
Oh, why?
Yes, I do have some information about Mr. Body.
Understand.
I don't know if I can trust you, Mrs. White.
You tell me and you'll be sorry you will.
Very well, Mrs. White. First person singular plural use shall. Second and third person singular plural use will.
You sound like a bloody school teacher. Tell.
As a businessman, Mr. Body intentionally acted to drive down certain stock prices of corporate domains, driving them into bankruptcy. He then bought them years later for excessive profits.
What does it matter to you? It's the American way.
What's wrong is that corporate beneficiaries of these donations lose funding, like educational institutions. They suffer. They suffer badly.
What does it matter to you?
I lost out.
You're in business?
Business, yes. One of the businesses that Mr. Body drove into bankruptcy and then intentionally bought was my family's business in Springfield, Massachusetts.
What was the name of the company?
PTA.
PTA.
PTA. Oh, Plum Transatlantic Oil.
Oil in Massachusetts?
Yes.
Well, it looks like you and me got something in common.
Your family was an oil.
He died in a fish and chip shop on the East End.
Yes.
Say, after what Mr. B's done to you, why are you still not doing his book?
The dignity lost degree shall be gained by proximity to the perpetrator. I'll gain more than your author's advance he owes me.
Oh, you're so poetic. I do like myself a manly bloke. Hard on the outside, soft and squishy inside. Hey, I get off after work. What say you and me take a moonlight stroll and get to know each other a little better?
I know all of this.
Yeah, I sort of work your personality when you speak, don't I?
Actually, all over your apron.
Dinner will be ready shortly.
Yes, of course, dinner.
Clue number 5. Plum and white in the study of the road. Do any of these here offer you hope? None of the 4 in the answer exists. But maybe, just maybe, there's an unexpected twist. The conservatory we visit now. Here there is a saga I live to be killed. I would like you all to know that I will cooperate fully so that your individual needs will be met. What you must do is plan your strategy wisely. Only the correct combination of suspect weapon and room will result in the successful murder of me, in winning the game. You know the ends you must individually achieve. I now offer a toast to your success. Raise your glasses. May the best murderer win. To success.
Success!
Festive spirits grow. All night, they search through every room. Which one's right? Which room will be my resting place tonight? What's the matter? The hip sounds terrible. The key is broken. Sounded fine until now.
Playing around it.
Well, continue playing around. Walk to a door, there to step through. Truth lies inside, well hidden from view.
the instructions.
Who reads the instructions?
I bet you she's a lost token from Sorry.
Or perhaps she's a discarded token from life.
Get that away, you small slob.
Sorry! I overwrote.
That's better. Now, who here knew Mr. Body? Everybody. Who here wanted a dead Mr. Body? Nobody. Well, we will see.
We shall.
We shall what?
Never mind.
I want you to know, here and now, that I'm not guilty. Murder's too vulgar.
Like your social life, I'm sure.
Colonel Mustard here. I like how you charge in and take control. Together we'll find this killer. Together we'll hunt them down. And together we'll rout out the enemy and together. Why do I have my arm around this bulldozer?
Detective, certainly you don't think that I could have. How much do you want to drop the whole thing? I'm glad I don't have your nerve in my tooth.
Surely it wasn't I. I get my jollies with crossword puzzles, not dead corpses.
That's not what I hear. And don't look at me, detective. I hate murder.
That's because you can't spell it.
You know, now that I look at you chumps in your wardrobes by Crayola, I doubt that any of you have the right stuff to be a murderer. Mr. Body's death was probably caused by natural causes. Card failure, dice trauma, whatever. I think I'll be on my way. Just a minute. A murderer is a select individual, someone with style. I breathe style. I have a feeling all you breathe is fire.
A killer is stout-hearted. Just call me Gibraltar. I don't waver, and I don't flinch, and I'll never. Why is that giant string bean staring at me?
The mind that plots and executes a murder is an extraordinary one. Its intelligence, superior IQ, consider me.
No, me. A killer requires creativity and passion. It's not. I'm a true artist. I work with his mongrels.
What did you do with the mongrels? Where? Don't answer that.
A killer is a sharp strategist. Sharp, that's me. Sharp as a thimble.
A killer is unique, detective. I'm
You certainly are.
unique.
But let's stick to the subject of murder, shall we?
Very good.
What?
Never mind.
So, these little piggies are innocent, and these little piggies are not. Well, one of you little piggies is gonna go wee 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 all the way home, because I'm sticking around and I'm gonna figure this out. I suspect that each of you had a motive to kill Mr. Body, and I'll be wanting to question you. All of you.
Baby, if you think you're looking at a killer,
Investigation now underway. I present to you the first clue of round number 2. Focus on where the deed was executed, where it's called my village. Murder's couch, deliberate act, and motive taught and bovine violence. The suspects now learn that the detective is quite effective and far more clever than any of them ever thought she could be.
So, you think I haven't got a clue? Well, I've got a lot more. This itsy bitsy spider crawled up more than the water spout. I've searched the entire premises and I found these 6 interesting items, which I believe may have been used to cause a heinous crime I'm faced with solving. I found a revolver in the ballroom, a wrench in the kitchen, a coil of rope in the lounge, a candlestick in the billiard room, a knife in the conservatory, and a lead pipe in the study. And with my handy-dandy laptop crime detection system, I was able to ascertain that all of your fingerprints appeared on all the items and were made between the hours of 9 p.m. and the precise moment of Mr. Body's death, midnight.
Don't go any further. I maintain my innocence. Therefore, I'll admit to handling 3 of the items. Not for the gruesome kind of murder, of course. At 9:02, I used the candlestick when in the library. It was on its side. I set it upright. At 9:11, I handled the revolver when I took it out of its display case to inspect its caliber, merely out of curiosity. And at 9:20, I used the knife in the kitchen to cut a rot out of an apple I was eating.
Good. Those items were not found in those rooms. I was responsible for 2 of them. At 9:11, before I retired to my chamber, I saw Professor Plum handling a revolver and got suspicious. So I waited until he went to the kitchen, and at 9:22, I moved it to a place where anyone with a questionable motive could not find it. The conservatory behind a lovely Wisniewski fern. At 9:30, I took the knife out of the kitchen and used it in the lounge to cut a twist with my martini. You handled no others. Well, I did take the wrench from the tool shed to a big, burly handyman who needed it in the kitchen to work a pipe. A lead pipe. At what time? When you're with a big, burly handyman, you don't take notice of the time. It didn't stay in the kitchen, the wrench that is. At 9:44, I saw Mrs. White retrieve it.
I needed to get the cop off in wild spirits. When I hired to the study behind some German book about outdoor recreation.
The name of the book.
My cabin. At 9:50, I went into the lounge so I could finish Shakespeare like a private lady. What a finds up on, which I lost on the way to the conservatory.
The conservatory?
Yeah, to talk some facts.
I found the rope in the conservatory at 9:58. Mrs. Peacock promised we would play cowboys and Indians. And you can't play cowboys and Indians without a rope.
You certainly can't.
At 10:23, I used the lead pipe in the kitchen to crack open a can of rations.
You still eat that stuff?
Rations stay with you forever.
At 10:30, I took the wrench to the handyman in the ballroom who needed it to fix a radiator.
That handyman is quite popular, ladies.
At 10:40, I gave him a knife in the kitchen to cut his bologna sandwich.
More popular than I thought. Is that it? No. I then used the candlestick in the study for a little night reading at 10:50.
Then I brought it to the conservatory for some atmosphere at 10:55.
I carried it to the billiard room to experiment with playing pool, 11.
I took it to the ballroom and cast a view from the balcony, 11:05.
9 to the lounge for romantic rendezvous with Miss Peacock, 11:10.
I in the kitchen for a late night snack, 11:15.
And I took the revolver out of the conservatory, 11:20.
I hit the billiard room 22.
minds of ages past would, imbibe with me, converse with me, fertilize my sweet God.
I gave up fertilizing cerebral gardens when my shrink told me that fertilizing rose gardens was a better choice for a bipolar codependent who regresses to her childhood for emotional support.
As Susan Baum said, the mind is most free when it is satiated with pleasure.
As Emerson said, the eye of prudence may never shut.
The awful thing about most people is their caution. Thomas Wolfe.
He has not desire for that for which he feels no want, Euripides.
The best way to get rid of temptation is to yield to it, Oscar Wilde.
I desire only to know the truth, Euripides.
Beauty is truth. Truth, beauty. That is all you need to know. Keats.
Let one be on guard against those who flatter and mislead, Aristotle.
Make yourself necessary to somebody, Emerson. And be not simply good. Be good for something. The road.
Oh.
Criminal propensities and calculated
Motive, opportunity, poison, and plot twists.
made for prime time fillers, plots of passion alibis. But in a newsroom of lies, yes, it's normal curiosity to thrill at the notion of engaging in foul play.
Much in civilized society, we stifle that emotion in fear of Judgment Day.
You're seduced by my theory. Your career is only deep within. Mission is the minds of more than careless. You're seduced by the deadly sin of sin.
I enjoy immersive bonus operandi. I'm transfied exploring brutal acts. Yes, a criminal's confessions contemplating. Compared to dissecting maniacs.
Criminal propensities and calculated risk. Motive, opportunity, poison, and plot twists. Made for prime time fillers, plots of cash and alibis. Consumed by blood and guts. But in a newsroom advice. The road, don't be too moral.
For he may cheat himself out of flesh life. Aristotle, if he have not virtue.
He is the most savage of animals. You're seduced by my theory. Your career feels uneven deep within. Question fills the minds of more than killers. We're seduced by the deadly scent of sin. The design of this game is not merely to entertain, it's only been for the kill. And that excites me. We're seduced by the challenge and reduced to the juice on the heels of pursuit to persecute, and open and shut case.
No more questions. Colonel Mustard. You certainly have an appetite for murder. When Mr. Body's father passed legislation banning you from the military, you offed him.
No, I went off with him. sleep.
In her will, she left you the house. There was nothing Mr. Body could do about this. The inheritance was yours legally. But a betrothed Miss Peacock you could never claim. So it was your turn. You killed him.
For the death of his parents, only his home!
No, because when he was a child, you convinced him that he was a toaster.
All these medals on my chest make the soldier see. I know you must be impressed to see how you look at me. I'll change all this glory if you change your story. It didn't keep me extraordinary because in the battle that's war.
Mr. Green, you're a conniver, a chauvinist, a snake.
No, I'm a Democrat.
You've been a business partner of Mr. Body in several ventures, but the one in Vegas, he swindled you out of your bundle.
Hey, that's the way the cookie bounces.
With gloss lips and tucks, the roles were reversed. It was your turn. You were duping him out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. You killed him.
Look, the money was mine. I know, because I never count my chickens before they cross the sidewalk. And babe, if you think you're looking at a killer, you're trying to fit a round peg into a bread box. Cheats and thieves, blue-collar crime, that's just nickel and dime.
eyes, past brazen moves and dazzling eyes.
Well, your secrets are out in the open. I can pin this murder rap on any of you if I wanted to. I've got the proof. Was it Mrs. White in the ballroom with candlestick? Or Miss Peacock in the billiard room with the knife? Professor Plum in the conservatory with the revolver? Or Miss Scarlet in the study with the rope? Mr. Green? Journal master? Yeah, run fast. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. But Jack cannot run this maverick.
Green bean, chip full of envy.
Their colors are the motive for to careless cheek to cheek.
Your assumptions are insane.
And you're as clean as yellow snow.
Above the one who's tall enough to strike a faithful blow.
For your buck, you lost your love.
For your son, you packed a gun.
Yo, here's my what's for your fail.
It's all my fault for bringing this message. Just to die, the joy of immortality. My heart is still outside.
You want the time to get in your two lovers in the scheme. Illicit assignations, you're the perfect murder team.
Don't blame me, she's in the will. Don't blame me, you're in the will.
You aim high when I testify.
It's either none of crime.
Please do the killer. But the killer hates himself.
There's strength of the gun madness, no
I
time.
did the rest myself. It's all your fault during this business. Excuse me, Mr. Green, you know you Reno Valley too?
My demise, no perfect mind. Sometimes like the ball, with the hope of a
It's all your fault we're in this mess. We're sorry that you came. So next time they were cheesy, please just find another game. I'll make your accusations and make sure the clues all fit. But if there is a shred of that, you know you mustn't quit. Deliberate, don't speculate. Implicate, eliminate. Blame the blame, but not on me. Cast your vote and set me free.
Complete your form. The time is now. You must select who, where, and how.
Deliberate, don't speculate. Implicate, eliminate. Twist your own and set me free. Lay the blame, but don't blame me.
Hickory, dickory, dock. Soon one of you will be behind lock and key and bars with meat guards and bad food. Ladies and gentlemen, the killer is Miss Scarlet in the library with the knife.
Yeah, I did it. I killed Mr. Body in the library with a knife. Because on the night he proposed, before he dumped me, he gave me a ring. It wasn't diamond. It wasn't ruby. It wasn't sapphire. It was cubic zirconia. Garbage. No one treats this lady like a five and dime dame and lives for a visit at the pawn shop.
Let us see who in the audience won the game, whose conclusions with ours were one and the same. Please rise to your place with a smile on your face if you guess the right room and name.
Oh, come on.
Not so fast. Miss Scarlet did it all right. Sort of. She was only the
You're mad, I'm no killer.
I did not say that you were. I said Professor Plum is the real killer.
But I am Professor Plum. B.A., M.A., Ph.D., that's me.
You're no internationally acclaimed author. You're no PhD. You're not an MA. You're barely a BA. You're a dorky school teacher from Springfield, Massachusetts, who came here disguised as Professor Plum because he had a bone to pick with Mr. Body. You see, Mr. Body ran the business into the ground that funded your private school. With no money, your school closed, and you lost your job as the English teacher and head of the PTA. PTA, not Plum Transatlantic. Parent-Teacher Association. You didn't kill him. You're too much of a wimp. Anyone who seduces a woman with Thoreau is a wimp. Ladies and gentlemen, the murder scenario was this. The real Professor Plum killed Mr. Body because Mr. Body had repeatedly demoted him from prime player in the game to secondary suspect to mere spectator, and then finally to the most demeaning positions of them all.
Mr. Body would not acknowledge that I could play the game as well as the others, that I had any sort of talent for murder. So I had to show them. How did you catch me?
3 crucial bits of evidence. One linked you to the accomplice, the sheet music. The second supplied the motive of revenge, the note made from magazine cutouts. And the third clue that told me it was you, and only you, the broken piano key.
Hey! Where you going?
This game is just too dangerous. I'm off to play another one, with no maladjusted psychopaths, no intricate motives, no murder, just railroads and hotels. Your idea is a good one. I wouldn't mind getting out of here, maybe spend some time in Palm Beach. Think I'll get Bill Clinton a call, see if his offer is still good.
I would like to find myself in a more erudite setting, with an intricate plot and characters above. Death. Like a John Miles novel, or Tony Crusher.
I can see myself out of this tired old mansion, and in something significant with G, too. Like an orbit movie.
I'll rise to the ranks to
Nice car, nice company.
Yeah, things were good. Until you left. Why'd you split?
You can't stick around when your two business partners, one who's your girl, itch up and leave you in the dust.
I didn't know what Mr. Body was up to. Really? He only put the make on me to gain access to the accounts. And he drained them, leaving me and our business penniless.
So why you here?
Why are you here?
To right the wrong.
Is wrong?
His wrong. You with me?
You. Me. How?
It was very selfish when he executed his intentions.
Making us the object of his dangerous invention.
But we must nonetheless, perhaps we must address a little retribution. And this means an execution
button through and tighten. There. Perfect at the knot. And if I pull here, I have a noose. A brilliant noose.
Hey, that's because I can cut a bit.
Not to worry, I shall replace it.
Yeah, that's just sweet bottom, you shall.
You will.
I will what?
You will replace it.
I ain't replace it. You can make the mess of it.
Proper English, you will replace it.
I will not. You're plain ruined it.
It's not you shall, it's you will.
Try and confuse me so I forget about the rubber and don't make you pay for it. Your highfalutin types are all the same. You're a slut.
Not as sly as your boss.
You're talking about Mr. B.
The ace winner himself.
Oh, you got some dirt, ain't ya?
Dirt is the substance that lies on the face of the earth. In your case, under your fingernails.
Oh, why?
Yes, I do have some information about Mr. Body.
Understand.
I don't know if I can trust you, Mrs. White.
You tell me and you'll be sorry you will.
Very well, Mrs. White. First person singular plural use shall. Second and third person singular plural use will.
You sound like a bloody school teacher. Tell.
As a businessman, Mr. Body intentionally acted to drive down certain stock prices of corporate donators, driving them into bankruptcy. He then bought them years later for excessive profits.
What does it matter to you? It's the American way.
What's wrong is that corporate beneficiaries of these donations lose funding, like educational institutions. They suffer. They suffer badly.
What does it matter to you?
I lost out.
You're in business?
Business, yes. One of the businesses that Mr. Body drove into bankruptcy and then intentionally bought was my family's business in Springfield, Massachusetts.
What was the name of the company?
PTA.
PTA.
PTA. Oh, Plum Transatlantic Oil.
Oil in Massachusetts?
Yes.
Well, it looks like you and me got something in common.
Your family was in oil.
We died in a fish and chip shop on the East End.
Yes.
Say, after what Mr. B's done to you, why are you still not to know his book?
The dignity lost degree shall be gained by proximity to the perpetrator. I'll gain more than your author's advance he owes me.
Oh, you're so poetic. I do like myself a manly bloke. Hard on the outside, soft and squishy inside. Hey, I get off after work. What say you and me take a moonlight stroll and get to know each other a little better?
I know all of this.
Yeah, I sort of wear your personality on your sleeve, don't I?
Actually, all over your apron.
Dinner will be ready shortly.
Yes, of course, dinner.
Clue number 5. Plum and white in the study of the road. Do any of these here offer you hope? None of the 4 in the answer exists. But maybe, just maybe, there's an unexpected twist. The conservatory we visit now. Here there is a saga of My dear, it is imperative that we conclude our conversation from earlier.
I don't like your tone.
I don't like your reckless escapades.
An insatiable spirit.
Let me inform you, my dear, that I will not tolerate such displays of frivolous abandon.
Let me inform you, my dear, that you may not have to.
At times I disparage my history of marriage has been matrimonial.
What's the
Round 1 has ended. 2 will now begin. In this round, there will be 3 clues to ponder and to muse, to advance you to a win. From what you witnessed, it's hard to surmise who, where, and how surrounded by the box. So, to make your theorizing more effective, I offer you an expert on a line with detective.
I'm a hard-nosed detective who's hard pressed to find the hard truth. I'm tough on crime, tough on suspects, and tough as nails. I turn over stones, turn over suspects, and turn over when I sleep. Peter may have picked a pack of pickled peppers, and she may have sold she sold by the seashore. But everywhere that Mary went, this slam won't be going. Is that clear? What are you all staring at?
Miss, there's been a murder.
I know.
What do you mean you know?
I searched the premises. Mr. Body's body is missing, and you all have horrendous expressions of guilt on your faces. Excuse me, but my plastic surgeon fixed that.
Why are you here? None of us call a detective.
I'm supposed to be here.
You're not in the instructions.
Who reads the instructions?
I bet you she's a lost token from Sorry.
Or perhaps just a discarded token from life.
Get that away! This is not love.
Sorry!
I call rope.
That's better. Now, who here knew Mr. Body? Everybody. Who here wanted a dead Mr. Body? Nobody. Well, we will see.
We shall.
We shall what?
Never mind.
I want you to know, here and now, that I'm not guilty. Murder's too vulgar.
Like your social life, I'm sure.
Colonel Mustard here. I like how you charge in and take control. Together we'll find this killer. Together we'll hunt them down. And together we'll rout out the enemy and together. Why do I have my arm around this bulldozer?
Detective, certainly you don't think that I could have. How much do you want to drop the whole thing? I'm glad I don't have your nerve in my tooth.
Surely it wasn't I. I get my jollies from crossword puzzles, not dead corpses.
That's not what I hear. And don't look at me, detective. I hate murder.
That's because you can't spell it.
You know, now that I look at you chunks in your wardrobes by Crayola, I doubt that any of you have the right stuff to be a murderer. Mr. Body's death was probably caused by natural causes. Card failure, dice trauma, whatever. I think I'll be on my way. Just a minute. A murderer is a select individual, someone with style. I breathe style. I have a feeling all you breathe is fire.
A killer is stout-hearted. Just call me Gibraltar. I don't waver, and I don't flinch, and I'll never. Why is that giant string bean staring at me?
The mind that plots and executes a murder is an extraordinary one. Its intelligence, superior IQ, consider me.
No, me. A killer requires creativity and passion. It's an art. I'm a true artist. I work with his mongrels.
What did you do with the mongrels? Where? Don't answer that.
A killer is a sharp strategist. Sharp, that's me. Sharp as a thimble.
A killer is unique, detective. I'm
You certainly are.
Yeah.
But let's stick to the subject of murder, shall we?
Very good.
What?
Never mind.
So, these little piggies are innocent, and these little piggies are not. Well, one of you little piggies is gonna go wee 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 all the way home, because I'm sticking around and I'm gonna figure this out. I suspect that each of you had the motive to kill Mr. Body, and I'll be wanting to question you. All of you.
Baby, if you think you're looking at a killer, clean the wax out of your ears.
Now, I'm in charge.
She had discovered a pattern. She was so proud to it.
And she made aware of it.
Dinner is like us, reserved and entice us. Prisons up in the fair. If we scare, so beware. Alibis must compare. He wasn't, she wouldn't, we couldn't. There's nothing that she can prove. If she hasn't got a clue.
The investigation now underway. I present to you the first clue of round number 2. Focus on where the deed was executed, when it's called my videos were committed. Murder's couch, deliberate act, and motive taught and bovine weapons. The suspects now learn that the detective is quite effective and far more clever than any of them ever thought she could be.
So, you think I haven't got a clue? Well, I've got a lot more. This itsy bitsy spider crawled up more in the water spout. I've searched the entire premises and I found these 6 interesting items, which I believe may have been used to cause the heinous crime I'm faced with solving. I found a revolver in the ballroom, a wrench in the kitchen, a coil of rope in the lounge, a candlestick in the billiard room, a knife in the conservatory, and a lead pipe in the study. And with my handy-dandy laptop crime detection system, I was able to ascertain that all of your fingerprints appeared on all of the items and were made between the hours of 9 p.m. and the precise moment of Mr. Body's death, midnight.
Don't go any further. I maintain my innocence. Therefore, I will admit to having 3 of the items, not for the grisly crime of murder, of course. At 9:02, I used the candlestick when in the library. It was on its side. I set it upright. At 9:11, I handled the revolver when I took it out of its display case to inspect its caliber, merely out of curiosity. And at 9:20, I used the knife in the kitchen to cut a rot out of an apple I was eating.
Those items were not found in those rooms. I was responsible for 2 of them. At 9:11, before I retired to my chamber, I saw Professor Plum handling the revolver and got suspicious. So I waited until he went to the kitchen, and at 9:22, I moved it to a place where anyone with questionable motive could not find it. The conservatory behind a lovely Wisniewski fern. At 9:30, I took the knife out of the kitchen and used it in the lounge to cut a twist for my martini. You handled no others. Well, I did take the wrench from the tool shed to a big, burly handyman who needed it in the kitchen to work a pipe. A lead pipe. At what time? When you're with a big, burly handyman, you don't take notice of the time. It didn't stay in the kitchen, the wrench that is. At 9:44, I saw Mrs. White retrieve it.
I needed to get the cop off in wild spirits. When I arrived in the study behind some German book about outdoor recreation.
The name of the book.
My cabin. At 9:50, I went into the lounge so I could finish Shakespeare like a proper lady. One of mine up, which I lost on the way to the conservatory.
The conservatory?
Yeah, to talk some facts.
I found the rope in the conservatory at 9:58. Mrs. Peacock promised we would play cowboys and Indians. And you can't play cowboys and Indians without a rope.
You certainly can't.
At 10:23, I used the lead pipe in the kitchen to crack open a can of rations.
You still eat that stuff?
Rations stay with you forever.
At 10:30, I took the wrench to the handyman in the ballroom who needed it to fix a radiator.
That handyman is quite popular, the ladies.
At 10:40, I gave him a knife in the kitchen to cut his bologna sandwich.
More popular than I thought. Is that it? No. I then used the candlestick in the study for a little
11:10.
I in the kitchen for a late night snack, 11:15.
And I took the revolver out of the conservatory 11:20.
I hit the billiard room 22.
I carried to the ballroom 24.
I to the kitchen 26.
I in the study, 28.
And I'm lounge staying.
The rest of the billiard room.
The conservatory.
The study, ballroom,
Now, French.
Kitchen.
billiard room,
Study.
Ballroom. 9.
Billiard room.
ballroom,
Lounge.
Tight.
kitchen,
Study.
Lounge.
Roman.
Conservatory.
Lounge.
French.
kitchen,
Lounge.
Revolver.
Lounge.
Rome.
knife,
Lounge.
Tight.
Lounge.
Wrench,
Lounge.
candlestick, pipe,
knife, revolver, rope, French, candlestick, pipe, knife, revolver, rope, French, candlestick, pipe, knife, revolver, rope. Everyday devices have been surprising uses when they're in the right hands, but for the wrong reasons. Delightfully delicious is dangerous abuses when they're in the right, 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 in the right. Hands, French and white, knife and rope, everyone's a clue. Any grisly gadget
You people act like you're out of your board game.
would was dead and empty too.
Well, I'm not finished. I've got something else on you. This note, it's made from magazine cutouts, and it reads, "It's my turn." I'm convinced more than ever that one of you is guilty of murder, and I'm going to find that person. I'll be interrogating all of you shortly. Stop staring at me!
How she self-rattles.
Serious.
Charge.
It's casually.
Attractive.
Information is essential. I presented to you the second clue of round number 2. Focus now on how he was completed. How I, with all glory, was fatally defeated. The weapon responsible for killing me traverses its intended cunning. Now to the library. Here the detective conducts her interrogation. The suspect is distressed with each accusation. She is alert, bold, cunning, and curt. They desperately jockey for vindication.
Professor Plum, tell me, could a savvy businessman such as yourself commit the crime of murder simply because his family's oil business was betrayed?
Could I? Yes. Did I?
I read your book on corruptions in the CIA. Rather enjoyed it. You know, you look different than on your photo in the book jacket.
Film can never capture exact likeness.
Very different. I read somewhere that you are now in South America, working on a book about...
My dear detective, let me give you some advice. A criminal act is best deduced by patience, astute reasoning, and cocktails for two. Why don't you join me for a drink?
I have a murder to solve.
Come, let two minds spend stimulating conversation.
Stimulation is not in my job description.
To his minds of ages passed away, imbibe with me, converse with me, fertilize my cerebral garden.
I gave up fertilizing cerebral gardens when my shrink told me that fertilizing rose gardens was a better choice for a bipolar codependent who regresses to her childhood for emotional support.
As some Mom said, the mind is most free when it is satiated with pleasure.
As Emerson said, the eye of prudence may never shut.
The awful thing about most people is their caution. Thomas Wolfe.
He has not desire for that for which he feels no want, Euripides.
The best way to get rid of temptation is to yield to it. Oscar Wilde.
I desire only to know the truth, Euripides.
Beauty is truth. That is all you need to know.
Let one be on guard against those who flatter and mislead, Aristotle.
Make yourself necessary to somebody, and listen. And be not simply good. Be good for something. The road.
Oh.
Criminal, broken cities and calculators.
Motive, opportunity, poison, and plot twists.
Made for prime time fillers, lots of passion alibis. But in a newsreel of lies, yes, it's normal curiosity to thrill at the notion of engaging in foul play.
Much in civilized society, we stifle that emotion in fear of judgment day.
You're seduced by my theory. Your career is a deep within. Mission is the minds of more than careless. You're seduced by the deadly sin of sin.
I enjoy a simple ceremony. I'm entranced by exploring those acts. Yes, a criminal's confessions contemplating. Not compared to dissecting maniacs.
Criminal, broken cities and calculated risk. Motive, opportunity, poison, and plot twists. Made for primetime thrillers, plots of cash and alibis. Consumed by blood and guts, living in newsroom lies. The road, don't be too moral.
For he may cheat himself out of much life. Aristotle, if he have not virtue.
He is the most savage of animals. Seduced by my theory, your career is a deep within. Question fills the minds of more than killers. You're seduced by the deadly scent of sin. The design of this game is not merely to entertain, it's a meaning for the kill. And that excites me. We're seduced by the challenge, then reduced to the juice on the heels of pursuit. And open and shut case.
No more questions. Colonel Mustard. You certainly have an appetite for murder. When Mr. Body's father passed legislation banning you from the military, you offed him
No, I went off with him.
to a remote village in Honduras, where Mr. Body's father was slaughtered during a tribal ritual and fed to the gods. Then, weeks later, his mother was found dead with a noose around her neck.
In Cowboys and Indians, the rules say that the losers must hang themselves. I didn't know she'd take me seriously.
In her will, she left you the house. There was nothing Mr. Body could do about this. The inheritance was yours legally, but a betrothed Miss Peacock you could never claim. So it was your turn. You killed him.
For the death of his parents? Only his home?
No, because when he was a child, you convinced him that he was a toaster.
All these medals on my chest make the soldiers see.
your turn. Did you kill him?
I got my revenge in Vegas. I caught Mr. Bott at the airport, dragged him back to town. Yes. I made him sit through Ashley Simpson's nightclub act and applaud.
Mrs. White. Did you kill Mr. Body to erase your stepson Nigel's debt? No. You killed him because he was driving you like a slave. Mrs. White, what are you hiding?
Well, whatever it is, it's well hidden.
If Mr. Body's death was caused by a blow to the head, which it may have been, the killer would have had to have been tall. Mrs. White, how tall are you?
6'1",
With heels?
with it.
Mrs. Peacock. 5 husbands, 5 questionable deaths, 5 fortunes. Now yours. And according to the fine print your lawyers added to Mr. Body's will, upon his passing, you inherit his entire estate. Remember something, detective. With a lawyer that makes more an hour than you make in a week, it's always my turn.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the final clue of round number 2. The game continues, not yet complete. Deducing the answer, no easy feat. The suspect used to scrutinize has brazen moves and dazzling eyes.
Well, your secrets are out in the open. I could pin this murder up on any of you if I wanted to. I've got the proof. Was it Mrs. White in the ballroom with the candlestick? Or Miss Peacock in the billiard room with the knife?
Body in the library with the knife. Because on the night he proposed, before he dumped me, he gave me a ring. It wasn't diamond. It wasn't ruby. It wasn't sapphire. It was cubic zirconia. Garbage. No one treats this lady like a five and dime dame and lives for a visit at the pawn shop.
Let us see who in the audience won the game, whose conclusions with ours were one and the same. Please rise to your place with a smile on your face if you guess the right room and name.
Oh, come on.
Not so fast. Miss Scarlet did it all right. Sort of. She was only the accomplice. You see, the real killer is Professor Plum.
You're mad, I'm the killer.
I did not say that you were. I said Professor Plum is the real killer.
But I am Professor Plum. B.A., M.A., Ph.D., that's me.
You're no internationally acclaimed author. You're no PhD. You're not an MA. You're barely a BA. You're a dorky school teacher from Springfield, Massachusetts, who came here disguised as Professor Plum because he had a bone to pick with Mr. Body. You see, Mr. Body ran the business into the ground that funded your private school. With no money, your school closed, and you lost your job as the English teacher at the head of the PTA. PTA, not Plum Transatlantic. Parent-Teacher Association. You didn't kill him. You're too much of a wimp. Anyone who seduces a woman with Thoreau is a wimp. Ladies and gentlemen, the murder scenario was this. The real Professor Plum killed Mr. Body because Mr. Body had repeatedly demoted him. From prime player in the game to secondary suspect to mere spectator, and then finally to the most demeaning positions of them all.
Serial player! Mr. Body would not acknowledge that I could play the game as well as the others, that I had any sort of talent for murder. So I had to show him. How did you catch me?
3 crucial bits of evidence. One linked you to the accomplice, the sheet music. The second supplied the motive of revenge, the note made from magazine cutouts. And the third clue that told me it was you, and only you, the broken piano key.
Hey! Where you going?
This game is just too dangerous. I'm off to play another one, with no maladjusted psychopaths, no intricate motives, no murder, just railroads and hotels.
Gina.
Your idea is a good one. I wouldn't mind getting out of here, maybe spend some time in Palm Beach. Think I'll give Bill Clinton a call, see if his offer is still good.
I would like to find myself in a more erudite setting with an intricate plot.